Hello, welcome to this update for the Atlantic and Eastern Pacific. So let's see what's happening. We have Tropical Storm Jerry there in the Atlantic. Yesterday, it kind of hit spots of the northeastern Caribbean, so it was like extremely close to these islands. Now it's a little bit further north already, so the conditions are getting better. But yesterday there were some very strong winds and heavy rain there in those areas. Now it's getting better, but still a few isolated thunderstorms. So please continue to be careful with the rip currents and a few extra storms that remain, but it's already going away. And in the Eastern Pacific, we have a slightly more dangerous situation because we have tropical storm Raymond that's about to probably make landfall in the southern Baja Peninsula in Mexico as a tropical storm. So there is some tropical storm warnings there and another island near the west coast of Mexico. So let's see here. Se esperan condiciones de tormenta tropical en las Islas Maías durante las próximas horas y Baja California Sur a partir de más tarde esta mañana. Fuertes lluvias asociadas con Raymond impactan las secciones costeras del sureste y noreste de México hasta domingo, lo que podría resultar en inundaciones repentinas, particularmente en áreas de terreno más alto. La humedad de Raymond trae la amenaza de lluvias fuertes adicionales a porciones del sureste de los Estados Unidos y noreste de México en los próximos días. So please be careful, and tropical storm conditions are expected on Las Islas Marinas for the next few hours and Baja California Sur beginning later this morning. And heavy rain associated with Raymond will impact coastal sections of southwestern and northwestern Mexico through Sunday, which could result in flash flooding, especially in areas of steep terrain. And moisture from Raymond will also bring the threat of additional heavy rain in parts of southwestern U.S. Sunday and early next week, and those areas recently had heavy rain from the past storm. So please be careful. So just seeing here very fast still shows some. But we had this moderate risk of excessive rainfall yesterday, two moderates until 12Z, but the actual day one today is a slight risk from Arizona to western Colorado and a marginal as far north as Montana and a slight there in North Carolina as well. So there's day two, still like a slight risk across Arizona, New Mexico, and a marginal in the Mid-Atlantic. Day three, still in California, the Mid-Atlantic, marginal and two slight risks in the Southwest. Day four, two marginals, and day five. So be careful in those areas and stay safe. Day 1 through 7 shows even close like 5 inches northwestern Mexico, into Arizona some 3 to 4 inches. A few isolated spots might be close to 5 into Colorado too, and more spots in the northwest. So be aware, and that coastal low pressure system, some are even calling it a nor'easter, spots from North Carolina as far north as Massachusetts. Some heavy rain, 3 to 5 inches next 7 days. So stay safe in those areas. Please be careful. And just checking here again, we have this new disturbance in the Atlantic just issued today. So tropical wave located to the south of the Cabo Verde Islands produce a broad area disorganized showers and thunderstorms and slow development distance possible over the next several days, where it moves west, northwestward, and west and northwestward at 10 to 15 miles per hour across the eastern central tropical Atlantic. So by the shape of this should head north, not continue towards the Caribbean. But we'll see, because the environmental conditions there are not too conductive, but they still might have a chance. So there's still some key matches for Jerry. Swells and rip currents generated by Jerry are affecting the Leeward Islands, Windward Islands, and Virgin Islands and Puerto Rico, and Dominican Republic and Turks and Caicos as well. This could cause some life-threatening surf and rip currents, and the swells might spread towards the Bahamas as well. So stay safe, and still some moderate rainfall potential affecting the islands. So be careful in those areas. If we check the Eastern Pacific again, there's another disturbance already at 20% that they might form. So still watching that as well. So be aware. And here there's actually a marginal risk of severe weather today there in the southwest, especially across Utah into Arizona, spots in Colorado into southwestern Wyoming, New Mexico. So be careful on a marginal in far eastern North Carolina. So wind threat 5% in both areas. Hail, not much, but still in Utah, some hail. And tornado threat 2% in the Outer Banks, mainly water spouts. So be aware in those areas and still shows a storm or two tomorrow into day 3 in a few areas in the Atlantic and spots the southwestern plains and the west coast. So be careful in those areas. There's Tropical Storm Jerry, should weaken a little bit, but some models do climb back up the intensity later on. But still watching, it should head out to sea now. Potentially might still be a low pressure system by the time it reaches the Azores, if it does, because some models are heading further north. So might need to watch some long range in the Azores just to be safe. So be aware. There's here as well Raymond shows like it's a tropical storm now and it should weaken, so no hurricane threat with this, but there's the flooding threat there in Mexico in the southwestern US. So be careful. And here shows like for some rain accumulation. 5 days, the European model does show still a few showers and storms in the Caribbean, especially southern areas, a few tropical showers, some storms in the afternoon, but it does show some heavy rain near Cuba, the Cayman Islands, and the Bahamas, especially those areas there. So be careful during the next 5 days. In the next 2 days, already shows some heavy rain and does increase a little bit more. So be careful. Central America as usual as well into South America. But I'm seeing kind of a new trend like in Costa Rica, especially the Pacific side, more than 150 millimeters next 5 days. So be careful with flooding there too. In Honduras as well, in Guatemala, there was even a tornado there. And be careful, more showers and storms, especially like still shows a few ones in southern Mexico, but the area of concern is like northwestern Mexico now. The European is like 128 millimeters, 138 even to 145 a few areas. And these areas are in more desert-like, more prone to flash flooding. So be careful in those areas, warn others. The GFS is kind of similar, even like 178, and the icon is like some darker blues, even to 200 on the icon. So this might be a serious flood threat. Be careful and spot the southwestern US. And now it's showing 5 days of rain, especially like New Mexico, a few more storms from this well, Nevada, but now it's showing most of California close to 1, 2 inches from those fronts in the Pacific. So some spots of Southern California might start getting rain after that long dry season. So that might be good, but be careful. And shows a few other spots there in the northwest. And in the East Coast, still showing the European, like South Carolina, some 6 inches in 5 days. The Outer Banks even showing 9 inches. The European, the GFS is just 2 to 3 inches. The icon kind of varies, but the icon is like 6 inches South Carolina. So be careful. Shows more across even New York, some 4 inches. So be careful. The system shows here like these low pressures already forming there into South Carolina, North Carolina, some heavy rain. It shows like a burst of rain tonight into Sunday across North Carolina, so be careful, some dangerous storms, water spouts, and flash flooding. And the tail end of this will bring storms to Cuba, the Bahamas until Monday, so be careful. Still shows Mondays, this goes further into the northeast, some heavy rain wind across New York into New England, those areas, and still shows a few storms down south south in the Caribbean until Tuesday. And then by Tuesday, this starts dissipating, right? But still a few showers in the northeast. So be careful with this system, especially heavy rain, storms and strong winds as well. Shows like that there's a strong wind offshore in the southeast. This goes and strong winds in North Carolina. This is the wind gusts potential, like shows, let's see, mile per hour. It's even 48 to 55 mile per hour gusts. Sunday across North Carolina. And then Monday, this goes. The Europeans are strong with this across Long Island to some 70 mile per hour gusts, 73 south of Rhode Island, a few spots there, Massachusetts, 54 into Connecticut. So this might be a big early season nor'easter. The only difference that you have just rain, no snow this time because it's still too warm. But you have some very strong winds and heavy rain. So be careful with this and stay safe. Warn others. In terms of strong winds, there's still some high gusts across northeastern Canada too. Atlantic Canada today, Saturday, and then Sunday still shows there in the Hudson Bay some stronger gusts in a few spots, and across the northern plains, the U.S. into southern Canada, it's a low pressure system goes into Manitoba, even like 127 km per gust in Manitoba on the European. The GFS around 60, 70 km per gust. The icons more than 100 as well. So be careful. At the same time, this is Monday, northern Alaska into Yukon, some strong gusts as well. And then this goes to the Hudson Bay again. And yeah, be careful. Those areas. Another thing is the snow shows like 5 days might really ramp up the snow, especially across Manitoba, that there in Canada, like 50 centimeters or more. Spots in Saskatchewan, British Columbia, and Alberta shows 18, 19 centimeters, even more, and more there in spots in northern British Columbia. So stay safe. And Nunavut and northern Northwestern Territories, even like eastern areas, and most of central Yukon. So be careful in those areas and there in the Arctic, of course. But the US might ramp up already, especially those fronts because of that trough in the west starting Sunday. Even some 24 inches in the Sierra Nevada, spots in Montana, some 11 to 15 inches. Right, it shows in Colorado some 4 to 5 inches. Northern Utah, central northern Utah, close to 4 inches. Shows in Nevada, more there into Oregon, Washington. So be aware of this snow coming. The GFS is in those same areas a little bit as well. So be careful and let's see when this will start. So show Saturday here still not much, just there in Canada, already starting the Northern Rockies and some storms there in the plains. This goes the moisture from Tropical Storm Raymond in Northwestern Mexico there. And then this keeps going. Sunday to Monday, the snow in Manitoba there. And then Monday, Tuesday, there's that deep low pressure across like spots of California, more rain and snow. Tuesday shows like the rain reaches as far south as Southern California and snow there in the Rockies, Sierra Nevada through next week and some other fronts later. So be careful in those areas and stay safe. And another thing that we have to look at is a typhoon there in the Western Pacific. That later these typhoons usually become some big extratropical cyclones in the Northern Pacific that affect Alaska and usually bring cold air behind them and affects the weather in the US. So those typhoons in the Pacific can really affect the weather in North America, bring more snow into Canada, those areas. So we have to monitor them as well. So be aware, those areas. Just one last thing, these temperatures are still pretty cold across northern Canada and western Canada, right in the Rockies, spots there in northeastern Canada. So please be careful. Shows Saturday and then Sunday morning show like -20 Northwestern Territories. There in Alaska, so like 2 degrees Fahrenheit, 1 very cold. In the southwest, some 50s Fahrenheit ahead of the front with the extratropical cyclone, but northern Alaska, very cold. So this goes, and then this is Sunday morning, shows in the Rockies in the US in 20s, 30s, especially like Sierra Nevada area as well, and much colder in the interior mountains there. So in the northeast and far east, high 30s by Sunday mornings. Sunday afternoon does warm up, especially in Texas, because of a small heat dome still present there. So 90 still in Texas, even as far north as Kansas. So be aware, southernmost California still, northern Mexico. So Sunday into Monday morning really falls even more the temperature in the Rockies, some 20s, some low 20s, spots northern Rockies, central Rockies there, and still in the Sierra Nevada as well. So Monday in the afternoon warms up in the south, and then Tuesday morning this cold air comes in further east, more into eastern Canada, and still in the Rockies, very cold. So this is about Wednesday the 15th, still show there in Alberta, spots British Columbia, but especially Tuesday the 14th will be particularly cold across Western Canada, Central Canada, those areas in the north still. So be careful with many areas of possible frost and stay safe, especially Monday, cold as well, and we'll see what happens later into next week. But stay safe in those areas. We'll keep watching. So here, like, let's just see what happens in the tropics again because we have that this disturbance tagged now in a 20% chance. So let's see if the models have anything. The GFS has it there. It kind of tries to form into a low pressure system. It goes and the GFS does develop it into a tropical storm by the 15th and just goes north into the Atlantic. But after that, the GFS gets a very low rider there into the Caribbean on October 20th. But really don't trust that. The GFS is half drunk, half zombie. So please don't fall to this. But let's see the European just to compare. So there's that strong tropical wave that might develop there in the Central Eastern Atlantic. It struggles a lot. The European just fades it into history because of dry air and wind shear. And after that, it's not really forming anything else in the Atlantic. If does for another one into Mexico in the Eastern Pacific on October 20th, but it's not really forming much else in the Atlantic. There's still the gyre to watch in later mid-October, but the model runs that I'm seeing now are not showing anything of great concern, but there are still some probabilities if you check the European model probabilities. So let's see here, just the ensemble, see if it has anything important. There's the European, shows like 240 hours. It does have Jerry there, it goes out into the Atlantic, might pass east of Bermuda. There's this next wave here and should curve out as well. But there's later on in time, it does have like one, two, three, some five members trying to approach the Caribbean. This is like very little support. We shouldn't trust this yet. And there's like most members from the Gyre are in the Eastern Pacific side, but still watching. So we'll keep watching. There's the Google AI as well. It shows like Jerry goes there. And then it does have another system, some support for the Caribbean. This might be the tropical wave now, or it might be that next one of the GFS, because there's one member that curves out here, but this might be from the wave now that's going north. But there's still some time before this, so I wouldn't trust this yet because most models are not even showing it. But we'll keep watching. The other Google AI has like barely any support for both the wave tags now and future stuff. So we'll keep watching and be aware.